All right, what's up, guys? Welcome back to another episode of the Living the Dream podcast. Today on the show, we have Russ Hedge, who is a marketing coach, keynote speaker, and live streamer. Russ, how you doing?
I'm doing so good. Timothy, how are you doing?
I'm doing well. Thanks for asking. And we'd like to jump right in. So if you could start with telling us a little bit more about yourself and what you like to do for fun, that'd be great.
Well, I tell you, I like to do lots of things for fun, but let's start with a little bit more about me. So I've been in sales and marketing for 30 plus years. COVID hit and I began my own journey with my own business, doing marketing coaching, doing keynote speaking, live streaming, and all of that, and loved it. Have not looked back. I love people. I love to work with people. Really, in a nutshell, my purpose or why in life is to inspire and encourage others to live a purpose-driven life of significance. And what do I mean by that? I want to inspire people to be the best them they can be, to actually be world changers and be difference makers, to get out there no matter what field or business they're in and make a difference in life. And so I love to do that. And what do I love to do for fun? Well, I have a beautiful wife and two great adult children. I love to spend time with my family. My son, who's my second born, is also married. So I have a great daughter-in-law. She's my number one daughter-in-law because she's my only. And so, so I love spending time with all of them. And that's really what I love to do. We're a very musical family, so I love music too.
There we go. There we go. So spend time with the family, love playing music. You've been in sales and marketing for 30 plus years and started your business, as did many of us, when COVID hit. And when did you figure out that you loved inspiring and encouraging others to live out that purpose-driven life?
I think when I was born, actually, I've always been, I've always been a upbeat, happy, positive guy that loves to inspire and encourage people. I do. I just love smiling, making people better. I love the happy side of life. Let's just put that. And but when it came to business, I started working with teams and managing and doing things and everything that I could do to help them grow and teach them, encourage them, inspire them. I've loved doing that. And I've also done it in the industries that I've been in. Reaching out to other people. I'm all about community. I'm all about building community. I think that is so critical in life and all that we do. And in that building community, it's all about encouraging people to be the best, them they can be. And I think a lot of times in life, we're too busy trying to be something we're really not. And so I think it's important for people to realize they have great talents and abilities that God has gifted them with, and they can just move forward and be awesome all within themselves.
Yeah, absolutely. I love that. And I love how you really hit on that note of community and how important it is in life. We often hear the concept, it's who you know, not what you know. And while that is like so true, I think we often miss how deep it actually runs. Like just knowing the right person for a situation can really change your life. And it's
awesome. Absolutely. Yeah. And my community, my good friend Scott Smith, who I do a live show Wednesday mornings with, the Experience Live with Russ and Scott, he always talks about leaning into your community, but you can't lean into your community until you build your community. And so I have always been a community builder. I've always done a million things from the time I was a kid all the way through adult life. I love reaching out. I love activities. I love getting involved with people in any way that I can. And so because of that, I built a really pretty good community. And when I started my own business, what you just said was so true, because who I knew turned around when they saw that I had started a business. And the first thing they asked me was, how can I help you? What can I do for you to help you in your business? And so because of those people I knew, they poured back into me and really helped get me started. So who I know has been critical to everything that I've done.
Yeah, absolutely. And so what would you say are some of the most important things to kind of keep in mind when you're building out your community?
Well, I am all about connection. I actually have you can enter your email on my website, russhedge.com, and get a free make a connection worksheet. And it's 5 simple steps to making a connection. And that pretty much lays out the simple way to connect and build community. Number one is starting. you've got to start and move forward. And what do I mean by that? Well, so many people think about what they're going to do. They plan, they muddle, they worry. They think, they plan, they muddle, they over and over and over. They're thinking, they're tweaking, they're planning, but they never actually get started. So you can't connect with people, getting to where those people are and building community without getting started. That's really true of pretty much everything in life. And really the fifth step, which I'll just jump right to number 5, is being consistent. That means doing it over and over and over. So when you're starting and you're building community through the other steps, when you get to the last one, you got to keep it up. You got to keep going. So I think consistency and getting started are really the 2 keys to building community.
That is so that is so powerful. And I say that because it's so simple too. And I think we often overlook these simple, powerful concepts in life. Start and then be consistent. If you do
It's
that
true.
in basically anything in life, you're gonna end up being successful. Um,
Yeah.
which is amazing. So I love that.
I totally agree with that. And I just want to say that I'm a simple-minded guy. I always joke that, I'm pretty simple-minded, which is true. And I think a lot of us are. And so I just want to keep it really simple and just move forward and make things happen. And so if you really complicate things on me, you're going to lose me. And I think that's true of most people. People that get really complicated. I mean, I tell you, over the years, Timothy, I have been through pretty much every marketing program, every sales and marketing program that's been invented. And I have done all these things. And some of them are so convoluted and so complicated that I don't even know what marketing is by the time I go through the program. It's just overcomplicated. You know, my simple philosophy is friends help friends. And so I do a workshop called How to Turn Cold Calling into Making Friends. And it's all about relationship marketing. You go out and make friends, true friends, authentic friends, and be just gain their trust. You're going to be great in all you do, especially in sales and marketing, because it's that know, like, and trust factor. And you get to that trust factor much faster when you're friends with people. And that's what it's all about.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. I love it. Well, awesome, Russ. Let's jump into your dreams and goals now. What is the vision for the rest of your life and your business?
Well, really, I love this. Great question, because I'm at a point in my life with my own business. I had somebody come to me the other day and say, "Oh, I've got all these great jobs you'd be great for." And I'm like, "No," because I'm at the point in my life where my dreams and goals are doing what inspire me, what drive me, and that is helping others, right? So not only do I love it in sales and marketing and all the networking and connecting I get to do there, but I've also been in ministry for years. And so ministry is really similar to that, because you're helping and inspiring other people and you're really helping them out. And so, yeah, I just love all of that. And that's really what I want to do. And I want to grow and be able to do that more and more online. My hopes and dreams are building my brand and all that I'm doing online so I can reach out to people. I've written my book, Befuddled, Live the Life You Choose, a workbook that goes with it that are available on Amazon and other online booksellers, and also want to write another book. Currently looking at writing a kid's book. So I like doing some writing. I would like to continue on that, and just speaking with people. I just love to get out there and actually be with people. So really, that's really what my goals are all about. I guess ultimately though, Timothy, I got to say that I have a beautiful, gorgeous wife and a great family. And I'd like to be able to travel with them more as well. That's something that I really dream about doing, is doing more and more traveling. So as I build my business and have more support, I've got one assistant now, it'll give me opportunities to spend more time traveling and being with them.
There we go. There we go. I love it. Keep doing what inspires you. Build that brand online so you can reach out to people, build that community, be with those people, write a kid's book, and travel with your family.
There you go. You're a good listener.
I love it, Russ. I love it. Those are some. I really like everybody's desire to travel, because I honestly think our desire to travel comes from, one, being with the people we love and doing something we love, and two, I think it also comes from growth. And you have a real passion for speaking with and being with people. It's like when you travel, you get out, you experience other people, you experience other cultures. I think that is one of our inherent desires that is tied to that longing for community, right?
Yeah, no, I agree with you. In fact, my short-term goal is to do some more traveling and take my beautiful wife with me and be able to do some business and be able to have a little personal time as well. Because I have developed, as you know, Timothy, over this COVID last couple of years, where we were forced online to begin with. It's been wonderful for those of us that just really reached out and connected online all around the world. So what I have done is develop just some really deep and great friendships all over the world. I mean, all over the world. I have some incredible places I can't wait to go. I have a lot of places to stay. Let's just put it that way. I just say, hey, I'm coming, and it's going to be exciting. So it'll be fun to meet people, maybe do some speaking or workshops, and then be able to do a little traveling with my wife.
There we go. I love
Yeah.
it. Well, awesome. Let's if you could meet one or two people right now, and this could be a specific person or a type of person, and they would really help you take the next step towards your dreams and goals. Who would this person be, and how would they do it?
Very good. Well, let's see. If I'm thinking people in the realm of business, keeping it in that kind of realm, and really kind of my life growth, I would want to meet people like John Maxwell, who is the leadership guru all around the world. I would want to personally meet Bob Goff, who is a great author, New York Times bestseller. I've actually been able to communicate with him via text and phone, but I'd love to meet him in person. They would really help grow me, not only in my faith, but also in my business growth and leadership. And, I really think that we're all leaders. No matter what we're doing, we're leading other people, right? So even if I am in marketing and coaching people, I am still leading them, and I'm leading by my example, the way I live. So we're all leaders one way or the other. So the two of them would be very, very high on my list. I probably could come up with a whole lot more, but those are the first two that pop into mind.
Gotcha. I love it. Bob Goff is Love Does, Everybody Always. Love those two books. He puts his
You got to
number.
get his new one. You got to get his new one. It's so great. I wish I had it here. I put it in my other room. It's called oh brother, I want to say Unscattered, but that's not it. It's called Undistracted. There you go. Undistracted. He just put it out. I just got it. I'm about a third of the way through, but oh yeah, I'm glad you know who he is. He's amazing.
Yeah, funny story about Bob Goff. I was a Young Life leader in college, and I went to Malibu, which is a Young Life camp. It's like a summer camp for, just to serve on summer staff or whatever for 3 weeks. And Bob Goff has a house like right by Malibu, and he actually comes into the Young Life camp because he was a big Young Life guy. And
That's awesome.
Came into the Young Life camp. I did not see him, but there were people who were on my summer staff that were working in the shop. I was in the kitchen that day, so I was cooking all day. They saw Bob Goff, and they talked with him and his wife and everything. And I was like, dang, I wish I would have been there.
Well, what's so funny, just quick story about Bob, and that is, number one, it was funny when I read his book, because I was turned on to Bob by my daughter, and she said, you got to read this. Bob Goff is a lot like you, Dad, and you need to read this stuff. And so anyway, I'm reading, I'm thinking, oh my goodness, this guy's amazing. Well, it had been a while after I'd read Love Does and Everybody Always, and I think I might have read Think Big already. I'd read either 2 or 3 of his books, and all of a sudden I ran into a situation. It had to do with a person that was maimed by a dog and needed a special surgeon. And this story, I think it was in Everybody Always, but it might have been in Love Does, about this surgeon that helped this person that was maimed by a witch doctor. And so this story comes to mind, and I think, okay, I want to help this person that just had this problem. Who am I going to call? I'm going to call Bob. And so I called him, and he picked up the phone. He goes, hi, this is Bob. And I said, hi, Bob, this is Russ. He goes, hey, Russ. And we actually talked, and he actually directed me to somebody. It was in Portland, though, that was able to help this person. They went to them. It was amazing, an amazing story. And then, of course, right after that, I messaged Bob, and he's like, yeah, come down to my camp in California and we'll meet. I just haven't been able to do that yet, but he went to Seattle and was at my daughter's church that she just had been on staff at. And my daughter wasn't there at the time and met her best friend met Bob, and they take a selfie, a picture of them. And I'm like going, okay, there you go. I could have been there and met Bob.
Yep. Yep. Hey, it sounds like you can go down to his camp though. So
Oh yeah, he's really open. I mean, he'll meet pretty much anybody down at his. I think it's called the Oaks that
mhm,
he started down there, a little retreat, and he hangs out there a lot. So he's basically, yeah, come on down, Russ, and we'll hang out at the Oaks.
that's awesome. I
Yeah,
love it. I love how just open he is. It really yeah, it really blew my mind. One, love does, it like shifted my perspective of love. Like at first, I'm still a young guy. I'm 22. But when I was like 14, 15, I was like, I thought love was like a feeling.
right.
And when he described it as an action, like love does, like I was like, oh my gosh. And then, I got deeper into my faith, and it was like I started seeing like his book kind of like the scales fell from my eyes a little bit, and then I could see it in scripture and I could see it everywhere. And I don't know, it was just my journey of love. Bob is a part of that, from feeling to action.
It is amazing. It is amazing. Yeah, I think that the things that, and what he has done, he's a good example of what I said, getting started with things in life. Bob is like, we're just going to do it, right?
Yep.
His kids want to change the world, so they write letters to leaders all over the world, and some of them write back. And next thing you know, his family's traveling and meeting with princes and other people in the other parts of the world, just because they stepped forward and did it, right?
Yeah.
That is what I love about him. He's like, let's take action. Let's love does. Let's love people. Let's get out there and do things. And yeah, amazing.
Yeah. No, I'm right there with you. Right there with you. Well, awesome. What are the most important one or two things that everyday people can do to really help you meet your goals of being able to travel with your business and write that kids book?
Okay, so here you go. This is what I talk about this in my book, but this is how I've always been. You need to develop good habits. You need to get a good morning routine. And this is why I think, and this will help you in everything you do. If you wake up in the morning, you have good habits and a good routine in the morning, it gets your day started off right. It points you in the right direction. I love to get up in the morning and I do, first I do some devotions and journaling. I do some scripture reading. I do just some quiet time. I work out. I exercise. You and I were talking about hitting the gym. I'm every morning doing some exercise, and several mornings a week I go swim at the gym and ride the bike and do maybe some weights and things like that. So it's important to have a good morning routine and get our mind right and have that time, create that space, right, to think about what we really want to accomplish, because that allows us to move forward. If you wake up and you are, as my book says, befuddled, and you trip your way out the door, which is, by the way, where that title came from. You trip your way out the door and you're all out of sorts and you don't even know what, you're barely awake and you're chugging your coffee and you jump into your day. It takes you 2/3 of the day just to get on an even keel to actually get anything accomplished, because you're all out of sorts right off the bat. So I think that is a huge way for people to find success, to meet their goals, and to move forward. Give themselves a good morning routine, develop good habits, space, time to think, and just move forward with purpose and in good intentions.
I love that. I love that. And so in that morning routine, are you suggesting they just have that time to think? Like for the person who has zero morning routine, they're living their life, wake up at 8:59 when they start their virtual work day at 9. What would you say they should do to start their morning routine right now?
Okay, so you need to do something that works for you. And I'm not trying to be wishy-washy with that, but everybody's different, right? Someone says, I can't get up, I can't run 5 miles. For a long time in my morning routine, I ran until I had knee surgery and I got a new knee, so I had to stop running. But I still walk every day with my dog, do some good speed walking. I do the swimming, I do the biking, all of that. But they should do what works for them, something that they can maintain. So back to my 5 ways to connect. They need to get started, and then they need to be consistent. So whatever it takes to be consistent, if that means you go out and you walk once around the block, you come in and stretch a little bit, and then you go about your day. That's your exercise. Or maybe you get up and you just give yourself a half hour of quiet time. You jot down some notes, drink some coffee, whatever. And then you maybe do 20 push-ups and some sit-ups, whatever you can do, but something you can maintain. And I recommend people do it every day, because most of us are similar to me in the way that when I started my routine, I knew that if I stopped one day, it would become 2 days, it would become 1 week, it would become 1 month that I wasn't doing what I was supposed to be doing or what I had committed to doing. So when I started my morning routine years ago, I do it every day. When I go on vacation with my beautiful wife and my family, I take all my stuff. I take my journals, I take my Bible, I take my jogging clothes or my walking clothes and my extras. I do all that. And I take it with me and I do it every morning. A Christmas morning, I get up bright and early. I do it because I think it's important to maintain that consistency and do something every day.
Absolutely. Absolutely. There are a couple of things that I really want to point out there. You said, even if it's just going out and walking around the block once, like just start and be consistent with it. And then if you say, I can't even be consistent walking around the block, even if it's just opening your door, taking a step outside, pausing for 2 seconds and coming back inside. Like if that's your morning routine, do that and do it every day. Because if you're really struggling with building these good habits, check out this book, Atomic Habits, James Clear.
Just read it. Just finished it. That's a great book. I love that book.
It is a fantastic book. And
oh my goodness.
It tells you all about, developing good habits. One, starting really small and then holding yourself and being consistent to that really small habit. Like,
yep.
Because the goal is to become a person who does that thing, not to just do the thing. So if you want to become a person who goes to the gym, you simply have to go to the gym. That doesn't mean you go to the gym for 2 hours. And James Clear will talk about somebody who went to the gym for like a minute. Every day, a minute. And then he was like, well, I'm here. I might as well lift something. Then it was 5 minutes. Then it was 10 minutes. And then he's consistent, an hour every day. And if you mess up, forgive yourself and go back to that really small thing that you can be consistent with. So you always have that consistency there. But
well, that's why I love that book. It was on my reading list forever. And I just finished it just about a week and a half ago. And it is critical to just give yourself a break and not put the expectations so high. And also remember, just because I was up to, 50 laps yesterday doesn't mean that the next day that I only do 10 laps that I'm a failure, because I kept doing it. If I'm doing it, I'm continuing to do what I can, because let's say my schedule gets squinched or I sleep in. I don't normally sleep in, but let's say you sleep in and then you don't get to the gym as soon, but you still go to the gym and you still do something, just like James Clear would say, just keep that habit going. That is the most critical thing. And when people say, oh, I hear you're a swimmer, and you say, yep, because you need to become in your mind what you want to be. It's not, you don't just go to swim, you are a swimmer. You don't just go to run, you're a runner, because that is an identity that helps you maintain those habits.
Yep. Exactly. I love it. Because then when adversity hits, you're like, well, what would a swimmer do? Not like, what would I do? It's because they are the same now. Like you are a swimmer. And it just, it really helps with that consistency. And a little story about this, actually. I wanted to develop a reading habit. And it has since then, this is inspiration for me to pick up my nightly reading. It has since then gone away. But I started with just opening a book every night. Like I wasn't even going to read the book. I think he talked about this. I would like put the book on my pillow and then I would just open it every night. I would open it and then I would close it. Wouldn't even read it. And I did that for like a month. And then I was like, okay, now you're going to read one word. And I did that for like 2 weeks. And I was like, now just read a sentence and read a page. And then I got all the way up to 2 pages consistently. I got through like 2 to 3 books that way. And it was like 2 to 3 books that I wouldn't have otherwise read. And it was beautiful. I started looking forward to my nightly reading. And it's just a great way to build habits.
And you've got to know what your strengths are and what is the best way for you to achieve things. And that's one thing. So if you're me, you don't base your habits on reading at night, because I'm like this sleepy time doll that when I lie down, my eyes close and the book hits me in the face. Literally, my wife's like, honey, just put the book down. It's all good. So what I do is I do the predominantly most of my reading during the morning and the day. Now at night, I do have a habit of reading a little bit of scripture, and I do try to get through at least a couple pages of the book that I'm on. Try is the key word.
Yep.
There's times I open the book and read the first few words and lay it on my chest, and that's it. But you know, the thing is, but I am really particular about always starting with scripture and always ending with scripture. So I at least read something at night, you know, out of the word. And I just think that's important for me. And I get a lot done that way. What I found also is a lot of good audio books. So what I've done, and I did this with James Clear's book too, I read some of it, I'll read actual physical book. And then when I'm driving or walking or whatever, sometimes I can also listen to part of the book. And so it keeps the book moving. And I find when you let the book keep moving and you're accomplishing more and more pages of the book, you get more excited about reading it too.
Absolutely.
So I think that's kind of important, but yeah, it's just developing those good habits. I'll tell you one thing that I did. I was inspired by him in that book. I decided to be 1% better daily. And that is how I do a couple more little exercises. I've come in and I've developed a new habit is every time I come in my office, I throw something away. Now, I'm not a huge cluttered man, but I do have organized piles, if you know what that means.
Yep.
So I do have nice, clean, organized stacks of stuff that it shouldn't be in my office. So what I've been doing is making a habit of when I come in, I find something I could throw away. And slowly but surely, I'm getting rid of stuff. The one other thing that I've really been doing is, well, I mentioned the exercise. So I added some exercise in the morning and the evening before I go to bed. And then that one, maybe that was the main things that I've done, but I've just been thinking about that 1% better. What's one little additional thing that I can do better to help myself? So I just think that's good plan for life.
Yeah, absolutely. And you'll be surprised, like, man, consistency and time, it's just the key. Like you would think 1 page a night or 2 more reps every time you go to the gym is like nothing, but man, it will change your like a year of 1 page a night, like 10 years of 2 more reps a day. Like you will be just miles ahead of where you were. And if you're competing with somebody, if it's a habit you're trying to build to improve in business or something, you'll be miles ahead of your competition. So yeah.
That's true. I'm just trying to look young like you again, Timothy. And when I reach that, if I keep doing one extra thing a day, maybe I'll put a little more lotion on, or maybe, you know, a few more reps, and yeah.
Yeah, exactly. There we go. Awesome. Well, Russ, now we're going to jump into our Thriving 3. And our first question is, what's your favorite book, movie, or podcast? Pick one.
Oh, I have to only pick one. I pick one of each, or just one of all of them?
One of all of them.
Ah, okay. Well, I mean, my favorite book is the Bible. I mean, that's number one. So yeah, there you go. I have lots of the other stuff, but that's my favorite book.
Do you have a favorite book of the Bible?
Actually, yeah. James, the book of James.
That's a good one. I like that one. I think it's in James too. There was something where it said, what was it? Blanking. It was right where it was talking about you don't give a homeless person, like when a homeless person asks for food or drink, you don't pat them on the back and say like, have a good life. And it talked about that. And I was like, how often am I like neglecting people's needs like in my life? Like I'm just not hearing what they actually need. Instead, I'm giving them what I think they need. And
right.
I don't know. That's somewhere in James. I think it's in James too. But
well, that scripture is basically saying, yeah, if you have the ability to help them in a tangible way, basically is the concept of that, then you should. And I take that to heart, because when I'm able to do that, I will. When people need help on something and I'm able, that's really a dream for my wife and I, is to continue to be able to reach out and help people more. And that's another thing with my business, as far as a goal, besides the travel, is to be able to give more to people, give more to our church, give more to people, based on having the resources to do that. So
Yeah, absolutely. I love that. And just, I also think it's kind of a stewardship thing to treat the work that you're doing well and live up to your full potential so that you can turn around and give like that.
I agree 100%. Yeah, I think that, I mean, it's interesting because we were just talking about the parable about the man who was given money and then he invested it and he brought back double. I can't remember the exact.
Oh,
And then
like the talents, like,
yeah, the talent. And the next man brought back, more. And then the last guy buried it and he didn't bring back, he brought back exactly what was given to him. And so what is interesting about that, and he says, "Oh, you wicked servant." A friend of ours the other day, we were talking about investing and she goes, "I'm a wicked servant. I just put a whole bunch of money in a savings account. It's not making any money." And we were laughing about that, but it's true because I have tried my best as I've been able to do some more investing to make more money on my money. Right. And so, the beautiful thing about that is while we're sitting here talking, I'm making money. Well, I could be losing money too, but I mean, ultimately I'm making more money on that money. I was thinking that my savings account is 0.00001%, interest. And the only reason I have money in there is quick grab for money that I need. It's not money that I plan to save long-term. It's money that I'm just stuck in there that I need to be able to pull from. Right. But money that I don't need to pull from right away, I can invest that in stocks that are fairly, I mean, stocks are not, they're up and down and they're not, you always have a chance to lose, but I have been able to, on good stocks and with a good advisor, make somewhere in the realm of 18 to 20% interest on my stocks. So over time, that's really good compared to sticking it in a savings account where with inflation, you're actually losing money now. So, I mean, those are just good principles to think about. I mean, if you have some you can invest in, you're already saving it anyway, probably a good idea to think about those things and really grow. Good biblical principle.
yeah, yeah, no, absolutely. I completely agree. And I think it's funny. In that parable, I think the wicked servant, the person who's called the wicked servant, comes up with that excuse. And he's like, you're lying because I think he said, I knew my master to be a bad man who reaps where he did not sow, et cetera, et cetera. He's like, you're lying because even if you thought that, you would have put it in the bank. So not only are we like wicked and not stewarding our stuff well, but we're lying to ourselves about the reason we're doing it. And that parable blows my mind and holds me really accountable to stewarding I think talents were a currency back then, but I think it also goes for time, work, effort, energy, like everything you're stewarding. If you're not stewarding it well, it's like, anyway.
Yeah. Well, you should definitely be taking wise counsel from people that know more than you do in areas of your life where you don't know a lot. I'm not an investor. I wouldn't pretend to do my own investing in the stock market. I'm not a day trader. I can tell you that. But I know people that I know, like, and trust, people that I've got to be friends with over the years that can take care of that kind of stuff. I've got a good bookkeeper. I've got a good tax accountant. I've got a good assistant that works with me who's amazing. I mean, I've done all these things so that I am stewarding not only, like you said, my investments, but also my time and talents as well, and doing the most that I can. And I continue to improve and grow on that because obviously I have a long ways to go still. I'm only 57 years young, so I have a long ways to go still.
There we go. There we go. Awesome. Awesome. Well, our next question is, one way you like to take care of yourself.
Say that one more time.
One way you like to take care of yourself.
Oh, one way I like to take care of myself. Oh, interesting. Well, I mean, I would say exercise makes me feel really good. And so that's what I like to do. I go up and down on eating good. So I probably shouldn't say I like to eat good, but which is another way of taking care of myself. But yeah, if I'm talking about taking care of myself and my body and all of that, I definitely like to exercise because it makes me feel good.
There we go. And what is one action step that you can take right now or continue to take if you're already doing it to either meet Bob Goff or John Maxwell?
Well, absolutely. I plan to meet Bob for sure. And our pastor at our church knows John Maxwell. So somewhere down the road, I'm going to get to both of them. That's my goal. And I would say my action step is just to continue to grow my community. So I get a community that's closer to those men, but then also take action when I get opportunities to be able to go and meet them.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. There we go. Well, we have one last question for you. I think there was one more thing I wanted to say. It was regards to stewardship, and I think I wanted to tie community into it before we move on to this last question. I think it was really around like, I feel like a business that's run well and is profitable and serves humanity is a really just a community that is like stewarding their talents and money well, which is a really cool way to think about, because you think business is like cutthroat and all this stuff. But when you really think about the foundations of community and the foundations of what a business that is successful actually does, they really have some things in common when you're like bringing investors to pool their money to serve humanity, to provide jobs and do a bunch of stuff. So,
well, I would like to say, absolutely. I agree with that. I think though that it goes even a step further than that, because a lot of us that are like entrepreneurs or solopreneurs that are just getting started are doing that with a community of other small business people too, or other businesses. Part of our community is a business community. And I mean, honestly, I can get on the phone right now and I can call my friends in Dublin, Ireland. I can call my friends in Australia. I can call my friends in South Africa or Canada or all these crazy places around the world, and they will help me right now. They will help me because they're part of my community. They'll help me in business. They'll help me personally, whatever. And that is stewarding good community. And as we do that directly in our business, Timothy, like you said, because we're being a good example, we're leading by example in the way we run our business. And we're all about collaboration, not competition. We're collaborating to make everybody better because we rise together. We help each other. We are better together. And I truly believe that.
absolutely. There we go. On that note, we got one last question for you. And it's going to require a bit of pretext. So, you know how there are people on the planet who have that really fixed mindset? They're not willing to accept help and they're not willing to accept change. Sometimes they live their whole life like that, and sometimes they die like that, unfortunately. Other times they make the switch at some point in their life to more of a growth mindset, willing to accept help and willing to accept change. In your opinion, what is the catalyst that causes that change?
Really good question. I would say I have to rely on my own personal experience. I think the real catalyst is some real shakeup of a situation, sometimes a bad situation, sometimes something where there was really maybe some trouble. I don't know. It just usually it's like not the big bang, but it's like some big experience you have that shifts that, because a lot of us we're selfish from the inside out naturally, right? We think about us. Our favorite subject is us, right? That's natural. That's just the way we are. And so I think that it takes something that really shakes that up. And even though I've always loved people and I've always wanted to be encouraging and inspiring, I switch from more of a, not that I'm perfect and do it right now all the time, but I much better switch from a real self-centered perspective to a outward perspective during college and right before I got married. And then definitely once I met the Lord and met my beautiful wife, and that was, the biggest catalyst for me. But it's that catalyst event, I think that's what I would call it, that really shifts that mindset because of something that happens to us. Experience is the best teacher. It really is. And we don't all wake up and suddenly think that we want to be growth minded and help others all the time. A lot of times we have to move our way into that. And then we learn to move and grow and get better, because I'm a guy and most guys don't ever ask for help with directions, right? We drive, no, we got this. It's all good. I've got it, right? Well, there's times we need help so we don't end up like driving in totally the wrong way. I can tell you stories about that too, but for the sake of time, I'll just tell you that we need to learn to ask for help. We need to learn that we are better together, that we rise together, and we need the help and the collaboration of others to get there.
There we go. Well, Russ, is there anything else that you want to talk about before we sign off?
Well, you are an amazing young man, Timothy, and we've only been able to chat a couple times, but I want to thank you for just a great interview. I'm inspired by you and all that you're doing. And yeah, I just want to tell everybody to get out there and just do better 1% at a time every day. Get out there, make small, just like we talked about, small incremental changes in your habits. It's one step at a time. You know, we look at what's before us in this world and we get overwhelmed. We all do. We get overwhelmed. And how do we overcome overwhelm? We just take one step at a time. I used to encourage my sales staff when they were having troubles getting moving, just take one step at a time and get out there and see that customer that makes you feel good, that customer that you really like, that customer that really fires you up. By taking that step and moving to them, you feel better already. And then you can move the next step to the next customer that maybe is not quite as easy. And you can move from there and you're not quite so overwhelmed with all that you have to accomplish. One step at a time, and you've got this.
There we go. Well, awesome. Russ, thank you so much for coming on the show.
You bet. You bet. Thanks so much, Timothy. I appreciate it.
Yep. And if you guys are listening to this and you loved what Russ had to say and you happen to be standing next to Bob Goff or John Maxwell right now, make sure to make the connection to Russ. Also, go check out him on his website, russhedge.com. He also live streams frequently. And where's the best way to find your live stream?
russhedge.com. Everything is there. That is simple. www.russhedge.com. You have all my connection points, all my social media, and my live streams, and everything that I'm doing. We have a mastermind and other things going on. I'm not going to go into all that, but everything is there at my website.
There we go. If you loved what Russ had to say, make sure to go check out his website. And as we always ask, send this podcast to 1 to 3 people you know need to hear this message. Shoot us a 5-star review on iTunes, and we're out.